In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Dr. Aphra and her two droids BT-1 and 000 as part of the special action figure set of 3 that was released early on in the revitalization of the vintage collection around 2018 and 19. So she allegedly won a fan vote back in, I think it was early 2018 if I recall correctly. I did participate in that vote, and leading up to Dr. Aphra allegedly winning that vote, I never heard of this character before. When she eventually wins, I'm like, what? Who's this Dr. Aphra character? I've never heard of her before. Of course, after that, I did do a little bit of research into her, and I think as far as Disney Star Wars is concerned, I think she's one of the best things that they have introduced into that timeline. I think she would fit along just fine in the old expanding universe. And I have a little bit of a genuine interest to read more about her. I would like to sit down and try to read at least a few of the comics at some point. But anyways, without saying anything any further, let's just go and take a closer look at these action figures. We'll start with Dr. Aphra here. So this is the very first action figure of her. I'm pretty sure, if I recall correctly, she came before the Black Series figure. And between the 3 here, Dr. Aphra is the only one who got an individual release in the numbering line as well. I forget what her number was though. I think she was, yeah, she was definitely less than 200. And this was just before the face printing technology came out, so she does have a painted face here. So she has her flight cap there, looks pretty good. It's not removable like the Black Series one is, but that's okay. She does have her goggles there, which are part of the sculpt. As far as her head sculpt is concerned, I think it's pretty good. I would say that's spot on. You can tell that I think the hair looks like it's sculpted different from the actual head. So it's 2 different components. And the reason why I say that is she does have that drape over her eye there. Paint looks really crisp on this. You can tell just before Hasbro wrapped up doing painted faces that they seem to be knocking it out of the park. And she has her jacket here, some pockets, and some creases and texture detail built into this, and some folds. It's pretty good. Her jacket is removable. It's not really necessary though. And she does have her gray shirt underneath, which is collared. Kind of hard to see with her hair there, but she does have a collar around her shirt there. Short sleeved. On this side she has the tattoo. I have to admit, when I first saw this, I was like, what? A Star Wars action figure with a tattoo? That's kind of interesting. Not something you really see. Unless it's like some special creature or something like that. Or like a witch or something like that. And this side, she's totally clean. I'm not exactly sure what the meaning of that is either. Perhaps it's noted in the comics. She does have her belt here, which is a separate piece as well. She does have her holster, and as you can see, Hasbro did a really good job with the tooling of this because she can be in a drawing pose. And it's very easy to get her in that position. So that's nice. Not too often you can do that with your action figures, even a nice drawing pose like that. It's pretty good. Looks like some of the legal information sculpted on the inside of her leg there. And for her legs here, it's just pretty much brown pants and brown boots. She doesn't really stand on a stand too well. That's about as far her foot can get on the peg. As far as standing on her own, this is before they did the rocker ankles as a standard thing. So you might have to work with her standing a little bit. It's not too bad though. I think she has her right leg is slightly longer than her left leg, as you can see there. So she is going to have a little bit of that slant to her, I guess. And as far as I know, I think she's pretty much all new tooling. I don't think anything's really reused on this figure. Perhaps her legs are. Gloves here. And she has the fingerless gloves. Some red there. In terms of her articulation, she does have a ball joint at the head and hinge shoulders, about 90 degrees. Hinge elbows, then hinged wrists as well, I think. Let's see. Is that hinge wrist? No, I think that's more of a swivel wrist. That'd be a very small wrist to put hinge in. She does have a joint at the torso, which most people usually have a problem with the cut in the abdomen there. And a lot of times it does look ugly, but it's okay for Dr. Aphra here because her jacket hides a lot of it, and even though you can see a little bit of it there, it's done in a way where it's not really too visible. So I think they did a nice job on that. She does have hinged hips though, and a swivel thigh, and hinged knees, and hinged ankles actually. Looks like she has the similar pattern like Han Solo does on his pants. In terms of weapons and accessories, she just has her signature pistol here, which fits very well around her hand there. You get the finger completely around the trigger guard. As far as her pistol is concerned, nothing really too unique about that. Yeah, pretty standard. Kind of similar to Han Solo's blaster, actually. Might be about the same model. And that's Dr. Aphra. Next, let's take a look at the Astromech here. I would argue this might be the most sought after figure of the three here because, for one, between him and 000, they did not get a re-release in the numbering line, which is kind of surprising because just about every single exclusive that Hasbro has done in like a 3-pack or a 2-pack or whatever has been re-released as well in the numbering line. All the 501st ARC Troopers got it, 5s, Echo and Jesse. Even the Cave of Evil set that came around shortly after this, at least they were in the Black Series 3/4-inch line. But between 000 here and BT-1, they haven't had their own individual releases up to this point. And it's been 6 years now, so I doubt they ever will. And even if they did, I imagine a lot of people would probably want all new sculpts. Still, I think BT-1 here turned out really nicely. There's a lot of gadgets about him, as you can see. And he's got like that cannon and this radar thing here. Not quite as complex as the Black Series one, I think. Black Series has some articulated points with them, but these ones are not. They're just stationary. As far as his body is concerned, he's just reutilizing a Build-A-Droid. So you can pretty much take this guy completely apart. He has a lot of nice paint detailing in him. His color scheme fits pretty well with the theme of the 3 here. Dark gray, some silver. And because he's a builder droid, that means his articulation's going to be the same. So he does have a swivel head there, and swivel shoulders basically, and swivel feet. And you can take this third leg out here and have him stand in place if you want. Of course, each foot has a wheel at the bottom. So in terms of his accessories, he actually comes with the most accessories, I would say, out of all of them. So he has these panels here that are attached to the side of these weapons. You can take those out. Let's see. This kind of looks like a machine gun in a way. This almost looks like the ammo or something like that. And you can't take these out. So you have to be kind of particular about how you take them out. And then they do go in a kind of a specific way. And you can make him look like a regular droid. I'm not exactly sure how it works, but I can't imagine he can fit both of these things inside his dome. So maybe it's something that gets attached to him if they're going into combat or something. And I think this piece up here is removable as well, yeah. Maybe it's some type of scope. Hidden accessory a lot of people don't know about. And if you want to put everything back together, it's kind of easy to do that. You might have to work with these panels a little bit to get them to pop off. Very rarely do I have this displayed without extra accessories. And they do go in a very specific way. This one has to go in on his left side. But these do plug in on the side there. No problem. This might be the other way. As you can see, one peg is just slightly longer than the other. This scope thing here. Fits like that, and we'll have him stand upright for the time being. Then we'll take a look at 000. And he's probably, I'm glad we have him, and he looks good for what he is, but he could have been a lot more. The Black Series one did come with some alternative hands with all his torture tools and things like that. And this is just straight repaint of the Vintage Collection C3PO, which it works okay for C3PO, but 000 definitely deserved a new Protocol droid sculpt. And as you can see, this particle droid sculpt is very short. He definitely should be much taller. But because of all that, he's basically just a dark gray or charcoal gray C-3PO. And yes, his face doesn't really stay on very well. Because he's reutilizing the C-3PO sculpt, he has a lot of parts that can pop off. I actually have not shown any C-3POs on the channel up to this point, I think. So it's about time we change that here soon. But overall, the paint looks pretty good. I'm kind of convinced that this is 000. Just would have been nice if he had a little bit more to him. Yeah, he doesn't stand 100% on a stand either. And he's in a pose that you would think a protocol droid would be. So for his articulation, it's basically a swivel neck there. I don't think that's on a hinge. Yeah. So swivel neck, which that's perfectly fine. Being a protocol droid, he's going to be kind of restricted anyway. He does have swivel shoulders there. At least I think it's swivel shoulders, I think. Yeah, I think it's a swivel shoulder there, and then they have a little bit of a hinge at the end of their arm right there. But you're not going to get a whole lot out of it. What else fell? Oh yeah. Back of them fell off too. He does have hinge at the shoulders. About all the range of motion that you could ask for. He does have swivel wrists there. Yeah. Joint at the torso. And swivel hips, and then hinge knees and hinge ankles. So a pretty good articulation for a protocol droid. In terms of his accessories, he doesn't really come with any accessories unless you count all these parts that come apart. So I'm pretty sure. Let me think here. So his face comes off. The body armor here comes off. You can see some of the inner workings. Kind of looks like something from a horror film or something like that. And I think, yeah, the thigh armor here comes off too. I think that's pretty much it. Oh, of course, the back here. So yeah, if you want to do that, that's always an option for you. And as you can see throughout the video, the parts don't really stay on the best. Some of them do, some of them don't. The leg here usually stays on fine because it has the lip there around his groin that kind of keeps that in place. Back here. As long as you just have them on display, though, everything seems to stay into place just fine. You can see how fluid that can holster her pistol there. Still like to keep her on a stand even though she doesn't fit on one too well. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can show you. So do some comparisons here real quick. There's 000 there. And as you can see, the Black Series 000 has all the parts added to his hands. And he does have alternative hands as well, so you can have some normal ones. Even though this is a reuse of C-3PO, the base of it's just reused, and then they add some extra parts to it. And of course, nothing pops off on So I think the Black Series 000 is definitely a huge upgrade compared to the TVC one here. There. And we have BT here. And you can see the huge difference between the two action figures. And like I mentioned, these parts here are articulated, while on the TVC one they are not. Slightly different paint as well. These ones are all just similar dark gray. These ones have a little bit of a brownish tint to them. And the paint is a little bit different. It has that yellow dot there, while this one doesn't. This one has a blue dot, while this one has a silver dot. And some slight variations here and there. There's that red there, while this one doesn't. And of course, Dr. Aphra herself. And you can see there are some differences between the two here. The flight cap is removable on the Black Series figure here. Well, this one's not. This one's a little bit more of a reddish vest, I would say. This one's just pure orange. This one looks like it may have been sitting on the sun too long, or it's been through a lot of abuse or something like that. And on this one, she has the blue pants. The TVC figure has the kind of a grayish brown pants, I suppose. And she has black boots, while this one has the same color as her pants there, as you can see. And these ones have the lines painted on the side of her pants, while Black Series does not. And the belts are slightly different too. So there are some differences between the two scales here. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can tell you about the special action figure set for the vintage collection. So would I recommend it for your collection? I would. It's probably not one that... It's not like a Clone Trooper or Stormtrooper or Jedi or Sith or something like that, where it's like everybody should have something of this in their collection. Dr. Aphra, you're either going to want her or you don't. Personally, I want her because, like I said, she's an alright character from what I've read of her. But she fits very well with like my smugglers and bounty hunters that I have. So if you are a big fan of bounty hunters, smugglers, anything of that nature, Dr. Aphra and her droids are definitely essential action figures to add to your collection. They're very nice for what they are. Are they perfect? No, they're not 100% perfect, but they're pretty close, and they're good enough. If they never get revisited ever again, I think we're fine with how they stand. And like I mentioned, BT-1 and 000 have not gotten their own single carded releases up to this point, and given that it's been 5+ years now at this point, I don't think they ever will. Dr. Aphra did, so she's probably the easier one to get a hold of. BT-1 is usually the most expensive one and hardest to get, if you buy it individually, of course. And 000 is, even though he didn't get his own release, he's usually not that hard to come by because the sculpt just doesn't really fit for him. As far as buying the pack brand new online, I see prices usually between $70 and $80, which, taking for what it is, if you really want it, I guess it's not the worst thing in the world. It could be hundreds of dollars, I guess. But if you buy them individually, perhaps you can get them a little bit cheaper. And that's what I did, actually. I got all three of these from Tungori, but I got them at all different times. I actually got Dr. Aphra in September 2018, and I got her alongside the Sandstorm Leia at the time. And then BT-1 I distinctly recall getting in August of 19. and then 000 I got at some point in between. So it took me almost a whole year to complete this set. And I think that's how a lot of people acquired the 3 action figures over the years, is through Tongori mostly. Still, solid action figures. I'm glad we have them in the vintage collection. They definitely deserve their place, I think. It's a shame that we don't get more special action figure sets. Seemed like for a little while there, Hasbro was going to be doing the action figure sets again, because we got this set. It was the very first one in TVC 2.0. Then we got the Cave of Evil set, I think, not too long after that. Then we had the 501st ARC Trooper set, and then after that, it's been 4 years now since we've gotten one. It's kind of a shame. I really like those special action figure sets. I think it'd be a good way to get some extra action figures in the line as well, especially ones that maybe they don't quite make it into the main line. But it seems like the True Builder packs have been kind of overtaking that. But still, hopefully we get a few more at some point. But yeah, solid action figures all around. I've had them for about 5 years now, almost. 5 and 6 years. Between the Black Series and the TVC figures here, personally I'm a bigger fan of the Black Series ones. I think they look better overall, they have a lot more to them. The TVC ones are still good, and I would recommend those as well, if you want them for your collection. But if you had to choose between Black Series and TVC, I think Black Series did these characters a little bit more justice. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for plenty more reviews in the future. There will always be more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I always appreciate all your support. And check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. As always, thanks for watching.